The turkey neck here is a dead giveaway. Anyway, speaking of partnering well, a little bit of a different vein, and my wife is here too, but partnering well is having the distinguished alumni and the Hall of Fame on the same day. So this is a terrific event. Congratulations to Aaron and Isaac. Joe, good to see you. And where's Peter Bograd? Peter, by the way, I wouldn't worry about the kids locking you up because I'm going to be the first one to do it.
You actually asked the cop with a gun. You actually asked the cop with a gun and handcuffs to arrest him.
It is true. Anyway, it's good to see all the alums here today. It's good to see you all here and families as well. The Dwight-Englewood School Athletic Hall of Fame was established in 1996 to honor those individuals who have achieved a high level of success during their careers as student athletes, as coaches, or those having made significant contributions to the school's athletic program. Its purpose is to perpetuate the memory of those that have brought distinction and excellence to the Dwight School, the Englewood School for Boys, and the Dwight-Englewood School. Before we continue, I would like to acknowledge Chris Herco, who is here today from the class of 1973. Chris was not here to accept his induction into the Hall of Fame, and his classmate Dave Halsepian did do so. But I just want to acknowledge Chris is here today. Chris, if you could take a seat. Congratulations, Chris. He's on campus, I think it says 45th, and he's back here from Texas. So welcome back. Today we induct one former coach posthumously, an alumni, and 2 teams in the Hall of Fame. The first person I'd like to have come up, and it's my pleasure to introduce John Glidden from the Englewood School for Boys, 1965, to present the Hall of Fame induction for Coach Carol Linder.
Speaker up here, but I will try to be brief. And Maria told me I only had 5 minutes to speak up here. When was the last time you met a politician to speak for less than 5 minutes? There we go. I wanted to thank the school for putting together the athletic hall of fame. I think it's a very important institution to recognize alumni and faculty. Thank you. Okay. Rick, can you hear me now?
I can, yeah.
Okay.
What about those poor people who are hard of hearing in the back?
We'll get them too. Okay. I have the honor today to talk a little bit about an individual whom I admired, who taught me a great deal about athletics, about hard work, and most of all, the joy of winning. Charlie Linder was a physical education faculty member at Englewood School for Boys from 1958 to 1974. He coached soccer for years, tennis for years, and he coached the ESB hockey team at the Englewood Field Club for years. Charlie was born in August 1922 in the town of Ostrava, Czechoslovakia. As a youth, he excelled at 3 sports, tennis, hockey, and soccer. He graduated from Prague University with a BA and a master's in physical education and went on to excel in national sports for Czechoslovakia. In tennis, he achieved success as a member of the Czech Davis Cup team. In hockey, he was a member of the 1952 and 1956 Czech Olympic hockey team. And finally, he played in the World Cup soccer for Czechoslovakia. Sometime before the 1956 Olympics, according to one of his students, Charlie told the story of a fierce rivalry between the Czech team and the Soviet team in hockey, and how the Czech hockey team had been beating up on the Soviet team. Now, about the time of the 1956 Olympics, it came to pass that several of Charlie's teammates had died suspiciously. Charlie then defected from Czechoslovakia just after the 1956 Olympics in Melbourne, Australia. He became an Australian citizen, came to the United States in 1958. He married his wife, Alina, had 2 daughters, Sasha and Carol Marie. He began coaching at ESB that year. Charlie lived with his family in Tenafly for many years, and after leaving Dwight-Englewood, he became a tennis pro at the Tennis-Fly Racket Club. At some point in his later years, he retired to Florida, and he died there February 9th, 2003. Now, many of Charlie's students had various types of opinions of him as a coach and as a teacher, but all said he was a character and a half. I personally remember playing hockey under Charlie, and I'll never forget his words when I wasn't trying hard enough. Glidden, you skate like a grandma. Mike Meserole remembers Charlie telling him, Michael, you're buying your brains at the Grand Union. Notice he said Grand Union, not A&P, because he shopped at A&P and he thought the Grand Union was cut under A&P. He was fond of telling Michael, if you don't work harder, I kick you home. He always said that, I kick you home. Bruce Delventhal remembers Charlie telling him, you skate like a plumber. Bruce also mentions that Charlie was the first coach to provide orange wedges to his athletes during the games. Whether it was tennis, hockey, or soccer, he was coaching, and his orange wedges were a revolution and a source of energy. In soccer, Charlie's coaching ability was best described by John Keating, co-captain of the 1965 undefeated team. He was not just a coach, he was tough, but he was a winner, and he didn't like to lose. He insisted on developing conditioning, and it was run, 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 and run some more. But Charlie would run with you, and after that he would play with you, and that was his inspiration. Jonathan Granoff was here tonight. The other co-captain of the 1965 team tells of his reaction to meeting Charlie on the field for the first time. Charlie was the first European, and clearly from another country, that had ever taught him anything. And that was difficult in the 9th grade. But Jonathan said what inspired him was Charlie's emphasis on conditioning and the realization that you could do a lot more than you thought you could do by one extra lap or one extra drill. John Pisani tells of Charlie's desire to win. Not only did he want to win every game, but he did not handle losing well. John's mother, Mrs. Pisani, who had 4 sons who played under Charlie, and never missed coming to a home game, took to bringing a flask and would produce it for Charlie discreetly when the score was going against him. Charlie himself was a great athlete and maintained it throughout his life. And Bruce Delventhal tells the story of when Jim Lee Howell came to the school to take a look around. Now, Jim Lee Howell lived in Englewood, and Jim Lee Howell was the coach of the New York Football Giants. He saw Charlie kicking footballs through the goalpost. Footballs, not soccer balls, footballs through the goalpost, using a soccer-style kick. Now, this was before the Gogolax came to the NFL. And Jim Lee Howell went over to talk to him, and he said, I'd like you to try out for the New York Giants. And Charlie said, well, that's great, but how much does it pay? Jim Lee Howell said, I don't know, I'll have somebody call you. So somebody called him, and he said he would get $2.50 an hour, but with no guarantee the number of hours. So Charlie said, I think I'll just have to be given a few more tennis lessons. And Charlie's has made a few mistakes in his life. Randy Evans, who's here, remembers one thing about Charlie, and that was Charlie liked to look his best, and he inspired his players by getting them to look their best. He insisted their uniforms look clean and neat before any game because good-looking uniforms intimidated the other team, at least through the first period. And then after the first period, if you were behind, it was you're skating like a grandma. And finally, in tennis, where Charlie was coach and developed a team over many years, I found myself coming in second to my own nemesis, Larry Kudlow, for the #1 singles spot on the RC tennis team. Larry, who had his own demons and tended to refer to Charlie quietly in the locker room with less than flattering names, which were overheard by Charlie, found himself demoted to the #3 spot. Larry Kudlow lost his voice and couldn't speak, and we know that this was the only time the great Carlo had ever been silenced on anything, and today many believe he has never been so silenced. Charlie was the one guy that could do that. And so we come to the induction of a coach, a mentor, and a teacher. I hereby induct Carl Linder to the Dwight-Englewood Athletic Hall of Fame. Charlie, we're down here looking up at you. You touched many lives. Thank you for what you taught us, and Godspeed to you, member.